Hi guys, welcome to our review of the latest blockbuster Hollywood movie. What happens in this latest blockbuster Hollywood movie? It's so great!
Well, in this film, a man previously belonging to the YouTube collective, the Skeptic Feminist, has been arrested after murdering his female co-host.
Wow! Does he end up in prison? Or does he end up on the run? What happens in this exciting film?
I don't know. Honestly, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, we're just seeing the previews of the film. Someone must have leaked a script.
I think it's still in the works right now.
Oh, okay, so they haven't completely finished this production. This sounds like it'll be a real hit.
We're like... we can't be serious for one moment.
No, we can't. A poor guy with PTSD kills his girlfriend or something?
Yeah, he was ex-military. He also goes by Russian Deadpool. His name's Aleksandr Kolpakov. And, he murdered one of his co-hosts, Heather Anable, known as Poison Ivy, on Saturday evening, apparently. Apparently she was shot several times, and she's, they couldn't help her, and she just...
Died.
Yep. That's all there is to it.
You know, feminist, am I right?
Yes, and there's an obvious irony of it, that the skeptic feminist murders a woman, murders a feminist woman.
A non-positive sort of joke to the situation.
Yeah. Someone else took over his Twitter, it seems. Oh, jeez. Having Wi-Fi problems now.
Yeah, he's doing this on his cell phone.
Yeah, I am.
It's one of those Y phones. Why would you have it? It's not that funny. Not as funny as this murder.
Anyways, someone else took over his Twitter and was, chatting with other people. Seems like they're kind of blaming other people. They said he was having a flashback and she couldn't pull him out of it this time, and that's what happened. And it seems like she's blaming...
She isn't blaming anyone. She can't blame anyone. She's dead.
No, the other person, the one who took over the Twitter account
since.
Yeah.
Blaming the community for this murder. Okay, this killing, shall we use the term.
They're basically saying he is brought down into this by mean comments and stuff like that.
If mean comments are giving you flashbacks, don't go on the internet.
Yeah.
You have to decide at that point not to go on the internet. Oh, the internet's the only thing I know and love.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah.
If mean comments are going to make you have flashbacks to your time in Nam or Iraq or whatever Arab country, it's irresponsible to go places where you unless you're doing that whole, you're doing the therapy thing where da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But don't have a gun around if that's the case.
Yeah. So, anyways, innocent until proven guilty, but obviously he did it. The question is second degree or first degree murder.
Or manslaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it wasn't first, because it wasn't premeditated. It can't be first degree murder.
Yeah.
You can't have first degree murder if you are not planning a murder.
Unless he did. There's a small chance that
he planned to have a PTSD outbreak and murder.
You could use that as a defense.
I suppose that is actually a possibility. That is a possibility, but then it's not a PTSD flashback. Then it is a deliberate murder.
Yeah.
Whereas in the other situation, it's murder by psychosis. You went crazy and you killed somebody. I mean, that can happen, clearly, because it did.
Yeah. I get the whole... judicial system and how it's in place and how people aren't really accountable for certain things based on their mental problems, but I think to me I place a bit of a higher emphasis on the public, on is this person a danger to other people,
and should they just be killed for being a danger?
I might argue that in some cases maybe they should.
Really? Well.
Yeah.
The thing is with that, you're not punishing somebody for something they did. You're punishing them for something they might do. And really,
but
anyone could be anyone could be a rapist. Anyone could.
Yeah.
A woman could get a strap-on and use it to penetrate a man, that would be rape.
After they've shown that they've done it once before.
That doesn't necessarily mean they will do it again.
They're more likely than someone who just doesn't kill people, though. Like, there are people
yes, because they have done it once. They have done it once. They are more likely to have ever murdered somebody than someone who has never murdered anybody.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, I can tell because you're really clear on exactly what you're trying to say. Yeah. I think we should kill anyone who wants to associate with someone who's got mental problems.
But
that would solve the problem, and it wouldn't have unnecessary victims.
But you could also, like, argue that, you were going to argue that it's her fault for
not so much it's her fault, but she knew that he had issues.
Yeah.
And she was the one who helped him deal with the issues. This is a known... everyone's claiming that,
yes.
They were together. And she was the one who usually talked him out of his, flashbacks or whatever PTSD actually does to you.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like she didn't know that this was the case. That it was a surprise and came out of nowhere. So she's sort of living in a situation, deliberately, where she's putting herself at risk. Continuous and constant risk. I mean, to say, like, oh, well, but she couldn't have known she was at risk? Of course she knew she was at risk. Unless she's stupid, in which case, maybe she's a bit too dumb to live.
Yeah. Well, I think it was... I might be mistaken. I think it was actually his girlfriend. So that's a bit of another issue as well.
How's that an issue? Well, no, that actually puts things more on my side.
Exactly.
Because she was, he's my boyfriend. I didn't know that he had these kinds of problems.
Oh, no, she knew, but she felt she had to help him with it.
Well, of course, because you're dating that person. Of course you feel you need to help the person.
Yeah.
That's just, like... common decency. Like, it's like, oh, I'm your friend, but I'm not going to help you if you got any problems. I mean, your microphone broke and I'm not going to help you with that. You can just deal with it yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm a jerk. What? Really? No, you help your friend. It's inconvenient to me. It might take a whole half hour of my time. Yeah. But I'm not going to charge you $50 for it.
Heck, it's probably taken a few hours total now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, well, I'll kill you for this.
Yeah. You owe me.
You owe me. Now you owe me so much that you're going to be paying out the ass. With the ass. You do things for the people who you are attached to.
Yeah,
I mean, to say that you don't is horribly naive.
That makes sense, but I don't think you should write off, like... terrible events, like,
no, but
just because they were a possibility and you knew
they were a possibility and you should have known that you're at risk, and the fact that you don't think you're at risk means you're ignorant.
Yeah.
And willfully ignorant after a certain point. Oh, ex-military. Well, ex-military, those people are perfectly safe. They've never hurt anybody. And, oh, he's got these problems. Well, that doesn't mean anything. The people with those problems are always perfectly fine, right? Like, if you don't see red flags, after a certain point, you're doing that on purpose.
Well, they probably did see the red flags, but they probably were taking the risk to.
Because they like the D, or the vagina, the dick or the pussy, right?
Well, probably because they care about the person.
Yeah, and but they only care because they have a chance to reproduce. That's how it really works.
I mean, We've all had family that we go a bit out of our way to, like, deal with sometimes.
No, we don't. That's ridiculous.
You're right.
That doesn't even make any sense.
You're right. I don't care about my family.
I know.
I'm very selfish.
I know. You only listen to them talk so you can hear the gossip because you're a horrible gossip.
Yeah. Just like everyone else on the internet, these people taking this gossip about this guy who killed this woman.
Yeah,
actually,
it's not like he did it on purpose.
At this point, since it's an actual news story.
That's just official gossip.
Yeah, official gossip.
Yeah. The kind that somebody thinks we all need to know. So if I put something on the internet and everyone reads it, it's not gossip. That's news.
Yeah, but I think the angle I'm coming at this from
is that you hate people with problems and want them all dead.
Like I have a similar situation, like as if it's still going on, where my mom, like I've mentioned this before, my mom murdered my brother like years back.
Yeah.
And then took her own life. At first, I was defending that decision, like the same way this person's defending what happened here. But now I can look back on that and be like, no, that was murder, even if they had...
Yes, it was murder.
Yeah, even if they believed they had... like that was the right thing to do to them. You know, even if it was a delusion.
Yeah, even if you're delusional...
What happened was terrible.
Yeah, but at the same time, your mother wasn't dealing with a mental illness of that caliber, was she? And I do use the term of that caliber deliberately because, like... oh, I have mild depression is not the same as I have...
Well, she painted herself into a corner with my dad, and she had Stockholm Syndrome for him.
Yes, but a lot of people have Stockholm Syndrome for people who they've been together with for a long time.
Yeah, and Stockholm Syndrome with a really terrible person...
yes, is bad, well. But that doesn't mix well.
And she was
but that isn't of the same caliber, I would say, as I have post-traumatic stress disorder, which even if I wanted to, I can't just say, like, you can take someone in that situation and say, no, you're leaving. You're coming with me, you're leaving that person, you're not going to be with them anymore.
Yeah.
You can't do that with someone with post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm taking you away from your PTSD.
Well, wait, you're talking about taking Robert.
No, I'm talking about if
no one would take Robert.
Well, the psych asylum would take him because he's wasn't he?
Yeah, that was the issue. She
didn't want that.
She heard horror stories, so it's like no, this is better than a psych ward.
Yeah, but it was too much. Well, death is better than a psych ward. Okay, your death as well is better than someone else in a psych ward.
Well, yeah,
what you're really sort of arguing is that Robert should have been killed. Is that better or worse than a psych ward? If you want to put it that way, what you're arguing is that your brother should have been put out of his misery. Not that your mother should have, but that your brother should have.
That's another argument too, and I'm actually 50-50 on that.
Because, I mean, like, not every psych ward is like a horror story. Like, there are people who need to be in a psych ward because they're psychotic.
Yeah.
And that while people might not be nice in a psych ward, they're dealing with people who might be really not nice.
Yeah.
You know, like dealing with the psychos, right? Yeah. It's not like we're saying go to the psych ward because we hate you. You're going to the psych ward because you're a little bit psycho.
But he also, like, you had to do very specific things at very specific times or he'd flip out. You had to take him on a walk through these certain paths at this certain time range every single day.
Yeah,
and
because that's sort of thing that people...
But you throw them in a psych ward, you know, people are just there to just do their job or whatever. You just, like, tie them up in a straitjacket and, like, you know, that's your way of dealing with them.
Yes, which, okay, now the question is, tie them up in a psych ward and you know, leave them there, so to speak, or dead.
Yeah.
Pick. You know, like, that's essentially, those are the options for him. Right?
Well, there was another option.
Which was?
I could go up there and help. And I mentioned that, and I think that's one of the things that triggered her. She really didn't want that.
No, she wanted him either dead or gone, but she didn't want him at that place.
Yeah, and she didn't want... I don't think she wanted it to be like a thing that held me back anymore either.
Yes, that is very, very visibly true.
Yeah.
But she also, though, the one of the big issues is that she, you know, chose a great number of the things that were actually the problems that she had.
Yeah. And she did have some, like, issues, I'm quite sure. She did have a nasty temper at times.
Yeah,
and
but
she had a history of mixing antidepressants with alcohol too.
Which is like, again,
really
another
bad.
choice, which is very stupid to make, but it's again a choice.
Yeah.
Whereas someone with PTSD doesn't choose to have PTSD. He got that trying to make sure that other people don't need to get PTSD and live in horrific situations like war.
Yeah.
Right? And to say, well, you went through all that, and now that you've gone through all that, well, we're gonna put you out because you have PTSD, and some people with PTSD end up killing people.
Yeah.
Not all of them, right? Because not everyone with PTSD ends up killing people.
Yeah.
Only some of them, and not even a majority of them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, PTSD. Oh, he's got PTSD. He really should be in an asylum because if he ever gets his hand on a gun, everyone's dead.
But I think once you've shown that you will do it, like
okay, which he's done once.
Yes.
Which, okay, then maybe you can do court mandated whatever they do for people with that. I think it's exposure.
Yeah.
They expose you to it repeatedly in controlled environments in small doses so you get used to it, because that's the only thing you can do for someone with PTSD.
Okay.
That is the treatment. The official treatment
that sounds horrible.
the official treatment is exposure. Repeated exposure. You give them repeated exposure in controlled situations. You don't just say, no, go out into the real world and see how it turns out for you. It's repeated exposure, and preferably very quickly it's in your average everyday life that you're supposed to have repeated exposure. So you get used to that thing and you no longer are triggered by it.
Yeah.
Trigger warnings do the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be at times able to be surprised by the thing.
Yeah.
Because if you can't deal with it when you're surprised by it, you're still under its control.
But we're talking about a channel here, the Skeptical Feminist.
Yes.
So they're all about the trigger warnings and stuff, right?
Yes, but that just proves that he has no idea how... That's probably... You know what? You could argue that's part of why he had the issue.
Yeah.
Because, trigger warnings, I can't be exposed to anything that might make me uncomfortable. Well, that's why you went nuts.
Yeah.
That's why you went crazy.
Yeah.
You know? That,
there's probably a bit of that. I mean... I don't know these people, so I can only make assumptions.
Yes, I'm just speaking in large, sweeping generalities, not in the specifics of the situation.
Yeah.
Which I know a whole bunch of people will just freak out about.
They will, yeah.
Oh, well, you're just speaking in generalities. Every individual is different. Well, I'm talking about this individual. Well, you can't generalize that. And it's like, well, then why do I even talk to you, you little asshole?
I do get that. Like, and I do get the whole, like, criminally insane thing, and, like, it wasn't premeditated, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that leaves open the possibility of abuse of that sort of system as
yes,
well.
But there's abuse of every system.
That's true.
Someone cannot... If you create a system that's perfectly non-abusable, it doesn't actually help anyone either.
Yeah.
Because it's a situation... It's a solution that no one can use.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that we want to get as many baddies behind bars as possible without getting any
good people.
Yeah, because that's just terrible to put.
You're ruining people. Somebody for no reason.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, you know, there's always the idea of mercy. Like, you know, someone who's done something wrong and is genuinely apologetic about it and, you know, doesn't want it to ever happen again, you can forgive them and give them, like, lesser punishments or at times no punishments.
Yeah.
Whereas you get situations where you have someone who's a complete and utter turd and it's like, no, I did that because I'm bad. Okay, well, you know, we'll give you the full punishment because you clearly don't care about anyone but yourself.
There was a guy, I couldn't find this story for the life of me. I read it
So you
once.
made it up and...
Maybe. Maybe I dreamed it.
Yeah.
I thought that I dreamed it.
Like that time when it was Wednesday and I dreamed it was Friday and I still had to go back to Thursday at school. Oh. I mean, it was one of the dreams where you've got the, you're in your underwear, you're naked. Yeah. It wasn't too much of a big deal. It was more that I had to go and do that day again at school.
I had a dream where I wrote my whole essay and then I woke up and it was just a dream and I had to write the whole essay all over again.
Oh, that sounds so bad.
I was so upset about that.
Trigger warning, doing homework twice.
Luckily, it actually kind of worked because I managed to stay on point with the dream. So it's like I was just recapping what I was dreaming about.
You just have to rewrite it. You've already got it all the ideas down.
Apparently, that a little bit of a tangent here. Apparently, that's how Freddie Mercury wrote a lot of his music. He'd just wake up and be like, "Whoa, I just came up with a great idea for a song," and like got his pen and paper and wrote down the lyrics.
That sounds like the sort of thing a gay person would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gay. Fat bottom girls.
It worked out though. He made some pretty darn good music that way.
Yeah, he liked to ride the village bicycle.
But
that's the term for the loose woman.
Oh, okay.
Right? She's the village bicycle. Everyone's gone for a ride. She's not a whore because she doesn't charge for it.
No.
No, she's just a slut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference between the two.
A big difference. I don't know. That sounded like it should
fat people are big.
Yeah, that's the joke I was looking for. I knew there was something there.
Yeah. But yeah, what were we talking about again? Capital punishment. And,
capital punishment.
Mental illness and PTSD.
I mean, like I get capital punishment. You know,
yeah.
Bad people. If someone's bad enough, I don't want them back on the streets in 20 years. Like we do in Kazakhstan.
But there's this gray area where, like, you could argue that anyone who's a serial killer, they must be mentally ill to be a serial killer.
Yes, I would argue that serial killers ought to be executed.
Yes. You know, and like,
no, none of this. Well, some of them maybe. No, serial killers tend to, like, actual serial killers, not like he killed 4 people and they were all part of this gang that tried to murder his wife or something.
But it seems like the evidence, all the research seems to point towards that serial killers are born psychotic.
Yeah, but are all psychotic serial killers?
No.
And not all serial killers are definitely psychotic.
Yeah, but you could also
if someone is going to go around
they have
and murder,
limited control over.
Well, no, I would say that if someone's going around killing huge numbers of people, it just, you know, that's a problem in and of itself. Not even that they are psychotic or not, but that they are going around murdering people.
That is definitely different. Like, I'm sure you'd probably change your opinion if this guy, you know, he got
if he'd done it 10
and then started doing
if he'd
crazy.
done that 10 times.
Yeah. Then it's like, no.
You know, even if he did it 3 times, then he's got real problems. Put him in an institution. Institutionalize him. They really hate institutionalization these days for some reason. You know, best thing you can do is some.
It's considered worse than
Hitler.
Prison. Yeah.
Institutionalization is worse than Hitler. Just, you know.
Oh, right. I remember what I was going to say. This story I read about this, like, serial killer guy who they were gonna, like, let free, and he was like, if you guys let me free, I'm gonna kill again. And they did, and he did. And then they brought him back, and they were thinking of putting him on parole again. I can't find the story. Maybe I just dreamed it up. I swear I read it, though. I must be going crazy if I.
You shouldn't swear so much. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, you're right. I gotta get all that family-friendly AdSense revenue.
You gotta be nice to all those psychotic people who just want to kill you.
Yep.
That John guy, he insulted my people.
But yeah, the judicial system. Like we complain about this leftist stuff, like with the transgender bathrooms. How people are already abusing that. But with the judicial system, you know, that gets abused that way. It's been abused since, like, its inception, probably.
Everything's been abused since it's existed.
Yeah,
women have been abused since probably the 3rd or 4th woman who existed. I doubt that the first woman was abused.
Yeah, but I discussed situation with Azrite Reaction, a fellow YouTuber. And he was like, wow, I'm shocked that you didn't go postal. I'm shocked that you didn't kill anybody over that. It's just like, you know what? Honestly, I probably could kill someone, and then they could like defend me as like having PTSD over that. I could probably use that as some sort of defense.
You could probably make the attempt. I doubt you'd succeed.
Well, yeah,
I think they would require like a full on like, okay, you have to go to a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And they could decide, no, you're not badly off enough to count as a PTSD.
But it could be possible that I could abuse that system and just.
I think you could make the attempt. I don't think you could actually do that easily. I think it's much harder.
Especially not after discussing it.
Well, that would be one thing. They would be able to use this video as counter evidence.
Yeah.
But unless they were, like, no, someone else is saying that,
No, they use this video as evidence for me because why would he say that? He was
legitimately discussing his issue.
Yeah. And now it got so bad that he had to do it anyways.
No, it would be more like, well, he was talking about his concerns, and he can't just not do anything for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
No,
Well, there's also the idea that.
I mean, it's not going to be a perfect defense. He might get it pushed down to manslaughter, which honestly it is. And he should be punished at that grade at the very least. Yeah. It is a case of manslaughter. He killed somebody at the least.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be counted legitimately, at least, as a murder.
No.
I think someone could count it as that, but I don't think it should count as that.
It depends on the judge.
It depends on the court, actually, the whole court, not just the judge. There's the judge and the jury and everybody involved that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be a judge there for long if you just went against everyone else in the court all the time.
Some of them do. Some of them do. Some of them have been kicked out by some of the past presidents. Like, they just said, like, no, the entire court is in contempt. All of you are gone. Bye.
Yeah. But, like, even the case with serial killers, like, honestly, I can understand it to an extent, like
serial killing, not just I hate this person and I want to murder them.
Like they've got a serious mental problem where they're like you must be pretty screwed in the head to be a serial killer and go around killing people.
Yeah,
and stuff.
That's true.
It is bad, but honestly, it's
not the worst
tragic, really. I think they should be executed. Yes. But it's also tragic as well.
Yes, it can be you can understand, but that does not get rid of the guilt.
Yeah.
It's an explanation, not an excuse.
Yes.
You could say, which is probably the best way to put it.
And that's how I'd hope that would hold up if I ever killed someone in court and the defendants like that.
No.
Defense lawyers like, oh,
he's psychotic. He needs to go to a mentalist.
PTSD.
No, it wouldn't be PTSD in that case. It would probably just be like an enraged killing or something like that, and that would not likely get you off very far.
No.
Especially not if I don't think you'd get PTSD get off on a PTSD charge.
Yeah, especially not like 5 years after the fact.
You'd probably be they have something called aggravated assault.
Yeah.
Which is where, someone has angered you into assaulting them.
Yeah.
Like, someone is yelling at you, screaming at you, pushing you around. So then, that is their assault there once they pushed you.
Yeah.
But they are annoying you into fighting them. Then you have aggravated assault, which is not as bad as plain old assault.
Yeah.
Which is like aggravated assault. That sounds worse because you were angry when you did it, but it isn't.
Yeah.
It's worse to just have regular assault.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that whole...
Well, manslaughter sounds worse than murder.
Yeah. But manslaughter is the accidental version of murder.
It's so weird. What else was I going to mention? Another similar thing to my situation. That was one of the reasons I left Tim Hortons was the people there were just driving me mad. And I was just like, I was talking with Marina, and Marina's like, well, in the Bible, it says that thinking about murder is just as bad as actually doing it.
No. It's not even that bad. It's hating someone is as bad as murder.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Like,
You don't get away from anything in the Bible. If you have hate in your heart, you are a murderer. It's not actually like that. It's like it's a little bit different, but
okay.
There's a little bit more what would it be, fine print in there. But thinking about murder is not the specific terminology used.
Yeah, but like working at Timmy's, like I've cooled off now, like, and it's been a long time too. But working at Timmy's, it was such a bad situation that I was like, oh, you crossed me, ooh.
You cross me, you might not make it till tomorrow.
Fingers,
Cross your face.
Cross your face. I was almost gonna say cross your figures, and I was like, wait, that's a little off.
Well, you can cross whatever you like, John, but you're a little bit weird for it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's why I left Timmy's, because I was legit, like, I felt like I was going a bit crazy there in those working conditions. And they actually hired 2 drug addicts. And I was like, no, this is my last straw. I can't put up with druggies as co-workers anymore. Like, just no. It's bad enough I have to put up with guests that are
druggy customers.
Yeah.
Guests. You and your weird Tim Hortons verbiage. We call our customers guests because we hate them.
I have such a short temper with junkies, as they're less politically correctly called.
Is that the less politically correct term?
Yeah, junkies.
I thought it was drug whores, but I mean, whatever.
But yeah, that's one thing that I'm very similar with my mom on. She hated, like, despised junkies. And before I was like, I don't even know what those are. Now that I'm grown up, I'm like, yeah, I hate them too. It's just...
No, because they're made of junkies.
Well, they're just so nuts.
That's what drugs do to you.
They fry your brain and just... Yeah. This is your brain on drugs. Boom. You just insert a clip of, what's his face? How to Basics smashing an egg. Yeah, this is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain on good drugs. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Smooth.
To all my viewers out there, please use drugs responsibly.
Take all the drugs you want, so long as that lunatic that you call your doctor tells you to take them, because he knows what's good for you.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
All doctors are good.
No doctor has ever made a mistake in the world. They have never left pieces of equipment in people's bodies. They have never done anything wrong.
Yeah, those are awful stories.
Leaving a scalpel inside or something.
I just realized
forceps.
This has turned more into like a 2-person podstack. Podcast.
That's where we I've got some pogs. Would you like to play?
Oh.
I saved them because they had cool pictures on them.
Did you get them from Pogs for Boglins?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
I really like the giant slammers they had that were like a half-inch or thicker. Is like
I've never seen those.
Oh, the things were really cool in my middle school. I think it was when I was in school. And so it was, like, oh man, these things are awesome. Look at the size of it. Yeah, and it's just like,
weren't Pogs just made out of like paper?
The basic ones were sort of cardstock.
Okay.
Thick cardstock, so they were about an 1/8 inch thick, a little less than that, between a 16th and an 1/8. But the slammers were plastic.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you were supposed to do with the 2 of them. You were supposed to hit them or something, and then when something happened, something else. Yeah. I never got into that part, but it was just it was like a dollar store thing. You buy a bunch of cool pictures on circles. But yeah, the slammers, as they called them, were usually plastic discs, but every so often you'd get one that was metal or that was extra thick. I don't know what the benefit was supposed to be, but they existed. I know they existed because, like, I had a couple.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that thing's cool.
Well, I always find something off-putting about, like, really, really cheap 90s stuff that was just like, oh, it's made of paper and cardboard and stuff.
You can't blame someone for making garbage and selling it to you.
Like, I'd be willing to pay more money for something that's made out of, like, metal or something, because metal's cool. And it does.
It's metal?
Yeah, it's it's like AC/DC. It's heavy metal.
Because it rhymes.
Yep, just like poetry.
Yep.
It's a funnier thing than we've ever had before.
If we can get it to work.
Yep. So I think that's about all we had to say about
this. That was a fun situation that poor guy went through, and that woman. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that he there's a certain amount of that situation that it's his fault, and there's a certain amount of that situation where it's like, she kind of was putting herself into a dangerous situation. Yeah. I mean, how did she not know he had a gun? Like, she knew he had a gun.
She knew. Yeah.
She knew he had a gun. She was trying to get the gun off of him, apparently, because, I mean, what else was she doing? No, shoot me! Shoot me! Like, that's definitely not what's happening, because that never happens, ever. Unless she's suicidal. Maybe she was suicidal and triggered him to get him to kill her.
I highly doubt that.
Well, so do I. I don't think that that's true at all. But, I mean, are you going to say it's impossible?
We're just going conspiracy theory route now.
Yeah, but, there's a certain amount of you knew to a degree. You put your life on the line in that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite, if you're like, I have no idea he'd actually shoot me, if you were still alive, that is, you'd have to be a bit of an idiot to think that someone with a gun who thinks he's still in a combat situation and you are an enemy... there's a certain amount of expectation that you should have that you could be shot.
Yeah.
And if you're putting your own life on the line, I mean, I feel bad for you, but at the same time, I'm kind of like... Oh.
That's another valid argument to bring up, because some of the tweets were like, you guys are monsters, this actually happens. People have PTSD flashbacks, and it's like, well, he clearly had access to a gun, and you knew.
Yes, but if he was still in the military, he'd still could be having PTSD while in the military.
Yeah.
And be having flashbacks, and they'd let him have a gun.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'd only have his flashbacks while he was actually in the combat zone, so that would...
Does that happen often? Like, soldiers accidentally shoot their own people because they're having...
I think it happened more in the... I don't think it happens that often, that much, because usually you've got your quote unquote battle buddies.
Yeah.
And so you know them and they know you, and you just know each other that well that no, that's so and so. I can tell. You can see his silhouette at 600,000 feet.
Yeah.
It's definitely him. You can tell. He always wore that red bandana. He wears pink underwear. You can tell. Like, how can you see that underwear? You just know he's got it. He's a weirdo, that kind of situation,
Yeah.
But, it's kind of like, well, she kind of should have known. And she kind of did know.
I think she definitely knew.
At the same time, and so there's a certain amount of me that says...
I think it's a balance of, you're trying to give them their freedom and their
and
dignity,
you can't just...
You're sacrificing your safety.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah, and you that's a trade-off, and you're dating the person, so you care about them well, I hope. I'm dating them so that I can share in the PTSD and be a victim.
If you're putting yourself in a life-threatening situation by being with them.
Yeah, I mean, so there's that bit where it's not like this was... If she didn't have any idea who he was and he snuck into her house under his PTSD, then you can say, okay, well, he's clear and present danger to humanity, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But, she exposed herself to him. Well, he was. I know it's really bad.
terrible.
That's terrible. It's utterly terrible.
Oh,
but
no.
the moment I said that, I automatically went, she exposed herself. Maybe that would have worked better. Boobs. Oh.
Hey, you've got a point. That might be a self-defense tactic, actually, for PTSD.
For women trying to help men with PTSD, show your tits.
Actually, I feel so bad for saying this. Maybe that was her strategy, and it just didn't work this one time.
Maybe he had a bad experience while he was there with like with a woman who was pretending to entice him.
Yeah.
And then turned into a suicide bomber, and 2 of his guys died. It was exactly the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
It's an unlikely theoretical possibility. It's a lame theory.
This just goes to show you that war
is
always crazy. And it's totally bonkers, yo.
War be whack, man. War be whack.
But yeah, honestly, I get...
Speak your words. Honestly, you don't even know what you're trying to say.
I get why people join the military and stuff.
Because people have to.
Army.
You need an army.
Yeah, but
you need to kill those dirty sand people.
That's also a trade-off. People, in general, know that they're getting into crazy stuff when they're joining the military.
Yeah, well...
It's very common knowledge that PTSD is a very serious thing for military people.
Yeah. Yeah. But, at the same time, a large number of them have it, and a large number of them don't kill their girlfriends when they go through PTSD thing. They think they're being bombed, and they flip out, and everyone's like, calm down, and they calm down.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
it's happened before, and she's calmed him down.
Yeah, like if you're going to make that argument, like you might as well argue, cell phones shouldn't be legal because they could give you brain cancer. Everyone should know that. No one should use a cell phone because you're dumb because it might give you brain cancer. It's like,
what's wrong with brain cancer? Why are you so anti-brain cancer all of a sudden?
But it's like... Don't
you love brain cancer? Are you anti-people who have brain cancer? Do you want to kill them too?
But like, even if it's a possibility, it's something you shouldn't consider as being like something that's gonna happen because
you don't consider it to be something that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
I could get PTSD. Yes. But someone's got to defend the country.
Yeah.
The thing is apparently that apparently older troops would also get PTSD, but it wasn't like it was just considered normal to a degree. Like they had people who just apparently just went blind out of nowhere. Like they just can't see anymore in the middle of battle. They're in the battle and they just can't see. Nothing wrong with the eyes. Nothing wrong with the eyes. They just suddenly can't see anything and flip out a bit because of it. And
wait, how does that happen? Just the signals?
It's just PTSD. No, not PTSD. Like your brain says, "I'm not registering anything anymore. It's too horrible."
Wait, so they shouldn't be blind, but they think they're blind, therefore they can't see.
Sort of. More like they wouldn't like their entire set of actions is as though they are blind. They are unable. They do not act in any way like they can see anything.
Yeah. Wait, wasn't this what Spec Ops: The Line was sort of about?
No, that was about seeing things, not seeing nothing.
Yeah, actually, that's a very valid point. It's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
You could be more wrong if you tried.
I'm sure you could. You'd manage somehow.
I would. Seeing nothing is kind of like seeing things.
I can't see. That's just like if I could see, but I could see things that weren't there too.
I think that's up there with some of the stupidest things I've ever said.
And trust me, there have been some doozies.
Yeah, there have been.
Doom is a better game than we've ever had before. If we can get it working...
Wait, when's Doom 2 coming out?
It already is.
No, I mean the new Doom 2. Doom 2...
2.
2. Yeah. Doom 2.
It'll probably be whatever the name of the year is on the box it is.
Yeah.
So if it's Doom 2020, it'll be in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Doom 2 2020. I didn't know they made an expansion for Doom 2 called 2020.
That would actually be really funny if it was an expansion for Doom 2.
Yeah.
Now, clearly we also don't have the full blah 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 situation, Serta. This is just our blathering based on what we've seen of the situation.
Don't worry, we've got our crews prying for information as we speak.
They're actually torturing the man right now to get as much information out of him as possible before it goes to court.
Well, and we've also got the supposed paparazzi harassing the families and stuff. You know, we've hired them. They're actually paid actors that work for us.
Yeah, well, that means they're not the families. They are the real families.
Yeah.
We're just tormenting them continuously to make sure they give us every scrap of information.
Exactly.
Because it's not like people have a right to, live without harassment.
Yeah.
You can harass people so long as as long as you plan to tell everybody about it.
Shouldn't it be my freedom to go and harass people for their information I'm interested in for my video?
That makes sense. That sounds right. I like the sound of that.
That sounds right. And I'm not talking about right as in right wing.
That's correct. That's so right, it's correct. Anyways, this has been Fizzle's Film Reviews of that murder that we heard about. Have a nice day, everybody.